Wow.
Yeah,
So
that's
it
cool.
is-
And what a lot of people don't realize about YouTube is that you can actually make a living off of
That's
YouTube.
right. Yeah.
It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but you can make money, at least some side income off of
That's
YouTube.
right.
And I don't even remember what the context of this was, but I do remember semi-recently, like at some point last year, there was something. There was a gamer that is on YouTube, and I don't remember the username or the person or anything, but there was a gamer that was on YouTube, and someone was showing it to me, and they were like, "Yeah, this person, that's how they make their living.
Yes.
This is what they do."
Yes.
And they play and they post on YouTube, and I guess for some people to just watch and be fascinated and interested, for some people to understand the game better, for whatever it is, but that person they pay their bills plus.
Right.
By just doing that. And so I think it's really cool that especially in this day and age, we have the flexibility to be like, well, this is what I like doing. What can I do to pay the bills with it?
Yes.
Rather than have to fit ourselves into a box that we don't necessarily want to fit in.
Work a 9-to-5 job in an
Right.
office, because that's
Right.
not everybody.
No, it's not. In fact, it's not most people. And corporate America eventually is going to get it, because they are themselves downsizing. And I think in my opinion, over the next 10 to 20 years, you're going to see a lot more people working from home. You're going to see a lot fewer commercial buildings being used, because people want to be, and it just doesn't make sense. Traffic, to drive and spend all your life in traffic is ridiculous. And to go to a building to sit down and do exactly what you were going to do an hour ago from your home or 2 hours ago from your home is ridiculous.
Yeah.
In most cases. Yeah, some things you do need to show up for, but most things you don't. And as we become more and more comfortable with this online lifestyle, the more people that get involved in it, the more it's going to be acceptable. And the more people are going to become. So I think both of you are on the threshold of what has already started to take over the way we do things, and it's just going to expand and explode from there. So to be in it on the ground floor, which is really where you are, is just like amazing, because people will want to rent consoles, because like Nathan said, you're not going to buy every console, right?
Yeah.
So
and there's plenty of them.
And there's plenty of them, but you might want to have a game night or a game party, or you may want to play and interact, and you don't have the latest gadget, right?
Right.
So to be able to rent it will be more cost effective, in my opinion. And as we talked about, and like you said, as a college student, you may not have the funds, or as a person who is just, like myself, I may not want to make the investment, but certainly why not rent it?
Yeah.
So that is an amazing business idea.
I agree.
Definitely.
Did you have a moment where the light bulb went off and you were like, I'm going to do this?
Yes. I remember that exact moment. I was in my bedroom, and I had wanted to play a game. It's called Danganronpa, and it's a Japanese RPG game. It's crazy. It's very crazy, but I won't get into that right now. The storyline's ridiculous, but it's really good, and I love it. I had gotten done with the first game, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to play the second one. I had seen it advertised and everything, so I looked it up, and I said, okay, it's on a different console, and I'm in college. I can't make a $200 investment on anything other than food and transportation.
Right.
So maybe I'll have to wait, or no, wait. Let me see if I can rent it, because I go to the library a lot. I rent everything. I rent cars. I rent, books, CDs, pretty much anything. Like, I look to rent first and see if there's like a cost efficient way. Looked it up, and I found nothing. For the thing that I needed, I didn't find anything. So that's where the light bulb went off, and I stopped. I actually stopped and said, wait a minute, I could do this.
Yeah.
So that's when I broke out a piece of paper, started a business plan. I just kind of laid awake for a couple nights. Like, this is a big thing. It could potentially be a big thing. And, I haven't shaken the idea. Even though it's been a few months in planning, it's like, I haven't shaken it. It's scary. It's really scary. I've never started a business before. The most I ever did was sell hand knit items in high school for money. But this is like an actual business venture that I would like to take further and, have it open to, the rest of the country. Because it is online based. I won't need to set up shop in every single state in America.
Right. That's right. And it can grow exponentially to international. It doesn't even have to stop at the borders of the United States. It just can start there. And so when you got that big aha moment, because I saw how your face lit up.
Yeah.
So
I remember like it was yesterday.
Right. And then, but you took it further. So what was that process like for you? What did you do? Okay, you got the great idea. And I heard you say you started writing out a business plan.
Yeah.
And so how did you learn how to write out a business plan?
Online, and also I went into a business school nearby, and I took their basic beginner classes, how to start a business 101, and I looked online, and at that point I hadn't really talked to too many people because there's not a lot of people around me immediately who have started a business or are thinking of starting one. So I went to the classes, I went online to, figure out what do I need to do first. And a lot of people were saying, start a business plan, map out everything you want to do with it. And I just put it on paper at that point because, I was still in school, I was still, doing things, and, I wasn't completely immersed in it because I was still trying to figure out what to do. I don't know what to do. So that's how it started.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's interesting too because I know that whenever I started my first business doing personal organizing, it was for me anyways, the actual planning process made the whole entire thing way less intimidating than I thought it was going to be. And I think we get this idea in our minds, and I think a lot of it is passed down from corporate America that, for what I was doing, I did not need to, I didn't need to apply for, a business loan. I didn't need to, and it's different for everybody because every business is different, but I didn't need to do all of these things that in my mind I was like, just because I had been taught that in business school and everything, these are all the things that I have to do. After talking with, and we've talked about this before, after talking with an accountant and a lawyer, I was like, oh, this is actually not easy, but it was pretty straightforward and simple. So anyways, that to say, that was the first thing that I did with the first business that I started was I just started writing stuff down. Keeping track of my thoughts and what I was wanting and potential problems, potential issues that I could run into, how do I solve them? If I don't, I need to talk to someone that will know how to solve them. And then, bada bing, bada boom, I was able to start a business out of it. And it was not nearly as intimidating and overwhelming as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and that's why I asked, what did you do post excitement?
Yeah.
Because, we get so excited about things, and, everyone gets business ideas. The problem is we don't write them down.
Right.
We don't write the idea down, and we don't explore it further. We just get this great idea, and we have this moment of, jubilation, and you're expressing your, self by laughing and being so excited. And then you don't write it down, and then the excitement dissipates, and the plan never gets written, and then it doesn't happen, and then you're on to the next thing. But to write it down helps memorialize it, right? And then it helps you with the planning.
One thing I will say too is that you're so right. Everybody does get business ideas. I've had a million. And I think for me anyways, and I'm sure if I have had these feelings and thoughts, other people have had them too, but I think a lot of the fear involved in not writing it down and not memorializing it and not moving forward with the idea at all is, well, what if it doesn't work? Then how is that going to make me feel? It's going to be such a letdown. It's going to be such a bummer if it's not something that I can end up doing, or, if I put this time and effort into it, then that's time and effort wasted, which none of that's true. I think at the end of the day, the worst thing that you can do is not do anything with it.
Exactly, because you kill it before it has a chance to have life.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So give it life, breathe life into it so that it has an opportunity, And so what if it, doesn't work? What if it does? And that's what you should be thinking about. What if this does work? How will this change my life?
Honestly, I get moments, even now, it's like, okay, there'll be a day when I'm not feeling so good, and I get those worried thoughts like, oh, well, what if it just doesn't take off? What if it's not as popular as I think it'll be? But I still stick with it. I, acknowledge that I feel that way, and a lot of people do. But then the next day, it's like, okay, I will do something about it. I'll talk to someone who give me some kind of inspiration, someone I can look up to, and, kind of get their feedback and, just get an inspiration off of it, because, some days I just really don't feel like 100% confident. I might feel 50% confident, but I still have that idea, and it's never left me. Like, that's the one thing I've come this far. It's like, I can't give it up now. Like, too many people know, my friends know, my family knows. And if I don't go through with this, someone's going to ask me about it, and then I'm going to get mad at myself because I didn't do anything about it. So that's why I just, take one step at a time and just try to push myself. Just do it.
Yeah, and once you get the wheels rolling, I mean, I know for myself, I've had days where I've had 0% confidence in what I'm doing. And, fortunately at those points I had already had the wheels rolling, and I'm like, well, I'm in this. I have to keep doing it. Not have to. We don't have to do anything, but, I'm going to keep doing this because I already have the wheels rolling. It's obviously working. Maybe not to my, to what I thought, the way that I thought it was going to work, but something's happening. And and in those moments, some of those moments have produced some of the greatest moments afterwards. And business ownership, I'm sure every single business owner, small or big, can attest to this. It's so it can be so unpredictable, such a roller coaster. It's very bipolar, if you will, and that's okay, because every single business owner that I've ever talked to has said the same thing about it.
Definitely. And I like the fact that both of you said you're not always 100% on. You're not always 100% like, woo, woo, woo. There are days when you wake up and you go, okay.
Why?
Am I doing this again? Oh, that's right. Okay, so now what part am I in right now? Okay, that's why writing it down is so important, so you can get back to where you left off. And you go, okay, this is the part I should be doing today. And like you said, and I love the fact that both of you, because Nathan does it too, you go to people and you get inspiration, but you know who to go to. Because you can't go to everybody. Because there are dream killers.
Some people should.
And there are joy killers. And there are people who will throw up their negative, energy on you. So you have to be careful. Don't just go, spreading your idea and telling a whole bunch of people about it, because there are joy killers.
I've run into at least 2 of those.
Yes. So I was going to say, let's speak to that too, because that's a part of it. And so,
whenever I had I remember unfortunately one of the first people I spoke to about my personal organizing business was one of those, and it was devastating to talk to that person. But along the road, at first I was very I talked to like everybody about it, and I didn't protect my idea very well in the beginning. And along the way, I've learned that whenever you do have a new idea, it really is, it's valuable, and it's I try to treat it like I would my finances, which is I talk to the right people about it. Like, who are people that have done this before? Who are people that are experienced in handling such an idea? Whether or not I'm looking for them for practical advice or just inspiration, it needs to be somebody that is experienced and knows how to handle an idea of that nature.
Yes.
Right.
You wouldn't go and talk to a professional sports player necessarily about your money, because that's not what they're experienced in, and they could totally screw you up.
Right.
And it's the same thing with a business idea.
Yeah, I I can speak on quite a few people now. One being, I posted, what I was trying to do on Facebook because I was holding a Kickstarter thing to raise money about it. And, it had my story on the page, and, I just brought the idea to my friends on Facebook. So someone comments, and it was like, I would support it, but... And then she went on, and I mean, it was somewhat constructive criticism, but then at the same time, I noticed after that she just didn't support me or talk to me at all. And this is a person who does play games. So it's not necessarily, I would want to target her audience, but then at the same time, she kind of killed it a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had someone else that... was someone I had, not grew up with. They were older than me, but, we were in the same groups of people. My family knew her and I knew her. But she had approached one of my friends and kind of got nosy about it, about what I was doing, and expressed their, disconcertment, like, well, I don't think that's a really good idea. And my friend was careful not to tell me a name, but then she let it slip. I was like, oh, so that's who it was. Okay. Well, that kind of just pushed me even further. It was like, oh, well, let me succeed.
Right.
I know there's going to be people who don't see where I'm coming from, and that's okay, but I just don't want it to weigh me down. Because,
that's right.
This is my idea. It's not yours. You're going to live your life some way, and...
Right.
I don't have anything to say about your life.
That's right.
If you want to say something about mine, then go ahead. But I'm going to still do what I'm planning on doing.
Right. Exactly.
Some of the most successful people, too, and this has been something I've had to remind myself a lot of recently, some of the most successful people will say that if you don't have haters, then you're not doing something right.
That's right.
Because your idea isn't for everybody.
Right.